Good evening, everybody. Hi, and welcome to this little webinar. Uh, my name is Dhiren Desa from Think Exponential, and I'm here to explain my product and what I do today. Hi, Stefano, Perry, and Roland.
Hello, Dhiren.
Hi,
Yeah.
Dhiren.
So,
Cool.
I'm going to share my screen with your permission and run through a few slides, and then show you my software. So, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
So essentially, what I want to talk to you about is how to improve your marketing strategy and 10x your cash flow. And my company, as I said earlier, is called Think Exponential, and my tagline is from 10% to 10x. So in short, I try to move companies from a percent-based thinking, 10, 20, 30, to an exponential style of thinking. And for a long time, I was influenced by Peter Diamandis and Salim Ismail, who wrote the book Exponential Growth. And they always talked about moonshots. And this was about 2014. And my idea of exponential growth when I first created this company was you need a moonshot. And so I spent a lot of time working with people in Germany on trying to, create moonshots in terms of an e-learning platform, in terms of an energy drink for an e-learning platform. And, in retrospect, I was wrong because I later discovered that you can also reach a 10x growth doing it the old fashioned marketing way. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. Now, what I also want to tell you is today we are in pandemic times and, we've had lockdowns globally. And I don't need to tell you guys because you've been around in the business world. The single biggest problem facing companies today, big and small, is cash flow. Now, 82% of businesses fail because of cash flow. And when things go wrong, what do companies do normally? Anybody?
Lay off people?
Yeah, lay off people
Costs.
is one thing. And why is that? It's because they want to cut costs, right? So
Reduce
the
costs.
number one action every company in the world does, big or small, is to cut costs. And then all the variations of that. Then they try and increase prices, lay off people, improve receivables. So all these firefighting techniques, which are from the accountant's point of view. Now, I want to attack this problem from the marketer's point of view because I'm a marketer. I've been a marketer for 36 years. And my approach, which is not, I wouldn't want to take ownership of it. I'm a follower of a guy called Jay Abraham who created this process. But my approach is to create cash flow, not to destroy it. So in marketing, there is a way to create cash flow. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. So essentially, this presentation is meant for business owners with revenues of between 1 million and 20 million and are struggling for cash flow and wish it could be better. Once again, I kind of gave myself a little tagline, and I call myself the cash flow whisperer. Now, why do I choose companies with the size from 1 million to 20 million? It's because they don't, or most probably with that size, they don't have a full-time chief marketing officer. And a chief marketing officer actually costs a lot of money, it costs something like $175,000 in the US. So the kind of function I perform is that of a fractional chief marketing officer for companies. And I go very deep into the marketing mix and come out with a very detailed long-term strategy to help these companies navigate and create cash flow. But why is this needed in the first place? Today marketing has become very, very complicated. And you won't believe that in the last 9 years, the amount of software available for marketers is something like 8,000 pieces of software. So if you can see this on the screen right now, under the heads advertising and promotion, content and experience, social relationships, in other words, under 5 or 6 heads, there are 8,000 pieces of different software. And on this graph on the left here, this small little one, what shows is In 2011, there were just 150 pieces of software available, and it's kind of exploded to 8,000 in just 9 short years. And this is what the long tail of it looks like. Some of the platform, Martech has it in the head, and this some are in the torso, and most of them are in the long tail. So let's come to the main event of today's presentation, and that's the software I want to talk about. It was created by a Canadian company, and okay, my screen is back. Essentially, it kind of, can you see the
No.
the screen at all?
Don't think
There's just a dark background with a couple of blue-gray boxes. Ah, there we
that
go.
comes back here.
Okay.
Profit acceleration
The
software.
presentation.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So,
you are in
this is-
now
Okay.
it's good.
Now
Good.
it's okay.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. So if you see the box on the left, there are about 12 different elements of the modern digital marketing mix. Things like market dominating position, which is also known as USP in our time, leads, alliances and joint ventures, digital marketing, compelling offer, and so on. And what we do when we use this software is we sit with the client, we find out their current revenue, their gross profit margin, their net profit margin, and then we go into 3 or 4 aspects of this software, and we go into say, do they have a market dominating position? And 90% of people don't, and it's as simple as having a powerful tagline. We all know that Avis was number 2, so they tried harder, and McDonald's is I'm loving it. I have my little 10% to 10x, but most of the small businesses I've talked to, they just have a name, and in most cases the name is not even self-explanatory. So just adding a tagline, making things a lot clearer, adds a percentage to the bottom line. And normally when I ask them, okay, if you get this tagline and the software, by how much do you think it'll improve your returns by? And they come out with 50%, 100%, 200%, and those kind of numbers. And I cut it down, I write 5% to 10%. And with just small changes like that, doing things like market dominating position, creation of leads, additional products and services, you can see on the box on the right here, you get 65% as an additional gain. And in this case, this is a client in India. He added about 5 million to his bottom line. So I want to just show you the software now. So I'm going to stop the share and get into the software. So just bear with me for a second.
Now I see Stefano.
You see what?
Now I see you again. Good.
No
problem.
Right, Stefan. Yeah, I'm trying to get my software opened up. Okay. Yeah, that should be it. Okay. Can you see the screen now?
It's coming. Yes.
Yes.
It looks like the same last time, but that might be the software itself.
It's the
Now it's
software itself.
real.
This is actually a different client from South Africa who I spoke to on Sunday. That's yesterday, I think. So
Yeah.
the revenue here is in South African rand,
Yeah.
And I just wanted to show this to you as an example. So this company belongs to a coach, and It's in the field of therapy, mindset therapy, and so on. And the name of the company is Blueprint Therapy, and it doesn't have any qualifying tagline. So, when I spoke to her and I said, "Does it have? Is it an architectural company? What? Why is Blueprint there?" And so she realized that we did this thing called market dominating position, and we went through certain questions, and at the end of it, she said it would make a 10% impact, 100% impact, which I took to 10%, as I said earlier. And then, I went up to the summary and showed her how it looks like every time things change. So why I came here is to just show you what it looks like. For example, if you're a florist and you go into an alliance or joint venture, how many businesses can you have a joint venture with? A florist, for example, could have a joint venture with a jeweler, with a cake shop, with somebody selling books. On Valentine's Day, somebody selling chocolates or wine. So this is one way to impact your revenue. So most people don't have these in place. So what this does is it kind of makes you figure out that if you do create this, by what level would it impact your business? And so, to cut a long story short, because I don't want to make this a very long webinar, when you go through all these points on the left, what you're going to end up with is sometimes a total makeover of over 100%. In this case, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them did 165%. And this is because of the law of compounding. How this works is that in marketing, there are 9 core drivers. And under those 9 drivers, as you can see on the left, there are multiple sub drivers which are important to the marketing mix. So what this guy Jay Abraham figured out was that you fine tune each of them by 3 to 5%. Now, most business owners are not marketing people. They're into their own company. They're specialists in their own product. So they don't know exactly what to do. And, when they hand over the keys to some digital marketer, so to speak, the general idea of such people is to super specialize. So they build a website and they may do some SEO for you, but there is no integrated way to put everything together, because they simply don't know how. Most people say specializing in SEO, further super specialize, and they make it on-page SEO or only backlinks or only keyword searching and so on. So this is one of the few products on the market which looks at marketing in a 360-degree holistic way. And then when you sit with the client, you go into a 10-hour deep dive, and you go very deep into all aspects of the marketing mix, and an integrated strategy is created. And then the software generates a kind of 1-year-long program or a project plan, which is prioritized by the business owner. So you decide first which part of the mix you want to go after, and what's next and what's next. And then the consultant or the coach merely sits with the business owner once a week and figures out the target for the next week and what was achieved the previous week. So in short, there's very tight monitoring about the numbers, about the work that is done. And it's a real product that actually helps you move from point A to point B by the end of the year. And in most cases, you're looking at 100% plus return on or improvement in your numbers. So this is kind of a very brief overview of what I do and what it does. I hope it was a bit clear to you. So if it wasn't, my apologies. And I'm happy to take some questions on it.
I have an initial one. What is the cost for the company of something like that, and what is the benefit? Is something percentage on the cash flow that would generate? or it's a further cost for them?
Yeah, so there are two things. One is consultants and I are recommended that we charge a flat a flat monthly fee, which is normally about $1,000. And depending on the nature of the company, there's a performance fee built in, which can be anywhere from 3 to 10%. And normally, most of the fees are paid from the money that is created from the work. So at the most, the first month's fees need to be paid by the client, which is $1,000 or $2,000. After that, the very nature of the changes made, which show immediate results, generate the money. Now, let me give you an example of how easy it is sometimes for low-hanging fruit to be tapped here. Do you know the number one way 90% of small business owners get their leads? Can you take a guess?
Word of mouth.
Yeah, word of mouth and referrals. You ask any business owner and they say word of mouth or referrals. So my next question is, do you have any system in place?
Mhm.
And the answer is no, they don't. So in this product, there are 32 ways to systematize a framework for creating referrals and at different stages of the buying process. And when you do that, when you create a system, then it becomes something that you can count on. Because the lady I spoke to yesterday asked her, how many referrals did you get last month? And she got 4. And you can't run a business like that because it's not replicable, it's not duplicatable, it's not something you can count on. So to answer your question, in short, again, Stefano, there is a fixed fee and a variable component, both. Yeah, because you pay for performance,
Sure.
but at the same time, a lot of time goes into it. There is nobody, or I wouldn't say nobody. There are very very few people globally in this market who can provide an integrated strategy. 9.9% out of 10 marketers look at things uh, in a very niche way, or in a very siloed way. They look at only a website, or they look only at a landing page, or they look only at Facebook ads, but nobody steps back and looks at the whole strategy and helps implement it. So that's where the uniqueness comes in.
So a related question to Stefano's. A small business doesn't necessarily need to license the software. They work with you as a coach. You have the software that you can then implement on their behalf. Would that be the business model?
Absolutely, because a business won't know what to do with the software. This can only be used by somebody who's spent a lot of time learning marketing, because it's not, the software is only a tool to create the strategy. After that, it's your learning and experience that comes in. So the software prompts you with questions, but you got to know the answers. That only comes from somebody who's spent decades doing this. Which is why it narrows the field down further. If you're a marketer, and preferably somebody of our vintage, it's a great advantage.
Is it integrated as well? So can you then, let's say, because if you start doing that on a regular basis, you said weekly even, I compare it a little bit to what we use in the lean startup world. Sorry?
My system, I can't hear you. Can you repeat it?
1, 2, 3, test.
Okay, it's my
1, 2, 3,
connection
test
that's
is better.
Yeah, it's better.
Oh, okay. Let's try. I compare it with what we do in Lean Stack, with a very reduced version of this customer factory. So what you just showed me here is a very elaborated way then for a serious business. Of course, we are doing that at the very beginning where you don't have these numbers yet. So my question would be, how much is it integrate or integratable with the rest of the company? So if you become the coach, if you have this tool, the marketing figures are so important, are so at the center of creating customers, having top line growth. Where do you get, how can you integrate that stuff? How is it just an island, or is it somehow then integratable with the rest of the MarTech world that the company is using?
This is designed to be used by an outside consultant. So you work closely with the business owner, ideally, because they won't have a CMO. No, in most cases, if they do that, then you work with the CMO, and you're giving them a weekly plan of execution, literally, a written plan, which says do this, and at the next week you check what's done, and then give them the next week's plan, and that again is auto suggested step by step from the software, because it has a project plan which is created when you do your deep dive.
So
So it
that
becomes really easy. But at
the
the same time,
software
you
is
need
at the
skills
heart.
because, for example, if you're writing a landing page, you need to know what psychological triggers are, and you need to know how to end a sentence and where to put what and how to write a headline. And so all those kind of things need to be some skill. At the same time, a coach or consultant does not and cannot be an expert in everything. You got to have some idea of how things work, how YouTube, Facebook ads work, for example, but you don't need to go and do it. For that, you hire a third party, or the company's people. But in most cases, you outsource that to relevant experts from Upwork or whatever.
And you would use it when there is no CMO, or actually, what is it? Is it better for if there is a marketing team that you can guide through that, or is it better to go after companies that are weak on marketing?
It could be both, because it also serves as a wake-up call for companies who haven't really, cleaned the pipes, so to speak, for a long time. And for companies without a professional marketer, I can guarantee you 100% they have no clue about what all this says.
Mhm.
It's a huge shock. And in the first 45 minutes, normally you always generate 100K in hidden cash flow. And there's no argument about that, because that guy's saying it's 100%, you're saying it's 10%, you're entering 10%. So you're actually
That's
cutting
cool.
down the figures, and that works because of compounding.
Mhm.
The figures just start, multiplying, because there's so many areas you tighten up, which when you tweak to 3 and 5%, you end up with more than 100 by simple, maths.
I like this idea that you can manage the hockey stick, that you can manage the 10x, that you have all these things. So my biggest question is indeed, how comes data into the tool, and where are the possibilities then to flow out? But maybe that's a too complex question for the moment. So at the moment, I like very much this idea of being capable of modeling in a coaching way a business to be on a 10x scale. It's cool.
Yeah, I think it has great potential personally. And I think uh, I've been in marketing for 36 years, and I've been looking at this product for the last over 2 years. I kind of shelved it when the IRAS project came, but I just started with it at that time, and I kept it going. I'm a licensee of the product. Anybody can be. There are 800 people in the world, mainly North America and Canada, and the how successful you are with it depends on how good you are, both in marketing and in innovative business thinking. And I believe that's one of my strengths, thinking out of the box, creating uh, new business ideas. Uh, because even when I worked with IDOS, which is common to all of you, my first uh, attempt at making it work was to use consultants. But we didn't have any consultants, who could use the product. So what do I do? How do I make money? So then I said, let me train and educate scenario planners with IDOS. Again, I completely failed, because none of them were interested in using IDOS. They either had their own tool or they didn't want to use a tool. So I pivoted for the third time. And because I can't fail, right? I have to create some results. So then I realized there's an even bigger market of strategic thinkers and planners who have never used a tool ever anyway. People like you. And it made sense to y'all, because yeah, you have this good tool and you can use it, and you're up and above and better than your competition. And that's how it made sense to you, and you all came in. So the thing is, when you're in business and you have a problem, you got to keep pivoting till you figure out the right answer. If you give up, you're dead anyway, and there's always some answer that's out there that's slightly beyond your reach, and you got to get to it.
I like it.
Thank you.
Last question from me, then I shut up. When I come into such a situation with my new job in beginning of April, I can reach out to you, right? Also,
I'd be very happy to.
I guess so.
Whenever, during a new job or before, whatever, I'd be more than happy to.
Makes sense.
How many? All of the reason to meet you in Zurich then.
How many customers do you plan to coach in a week? Is it more something that you need your 10 customers, then you're good? Or is it something that
That's a great question, actually. Thank you for reminding me of that answer. So I've been doing a lot of work on myself in the last 4 months. So like in IDOS, where my bigger mission, which I may have kind of voiced to you a few times, was to reduce unemployment by creating a superior product that could help businesses think and consultants that would help businesses think. So out here, my vision remains unchanged. My spiritual vision is to reduce unemployment. So by using this tool with small and medium businesses, my goal in the next 12 months is to touch 1,000 businesses with my 1 hour free consultation. So whether they hire me or not, they have $100,000 worth of ideas. I give them the recording for free. There is no obligation for them to buy. And out of those 1,000, I expect a minimum of 15 people will become my clients, possibly much more. But I'm really aiming at 15 people over the next 1 year, and I'm happy with that. If it's more, I take as many as I can handle because I don't want to also overdo it. My idea is to provide a really good job to such people. So I get, a lot of testimonials built up. I'm writing a blog right now. I've written an article just today, which is known as a pillar article, which kind of, serves as the pillar for the whole blog and is all about I've spoken to you about in the last half an hour. I will send the article to all of y'all just to have a look at.
Yes, please.
So if there are no more questions, then I will end this webinar now. And thank you very, very much for your time and your patience in sitting through it. I really appreciate it. And see you soon. Yeah.
Best wishes to you, Dhiren.
Thank you very much, Dhiren.
My pleasure.